Hey everyone, so let's talk about one of the most fundamental names of God, Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. It's a name we hear all the time, but do we really get it? A lot of us kind of grow up with this picture of God as this grumpy warden, just waiting for us to mess up. But is that really who he is? Let's dig in and unpack this.
Here's the journey we're going to take. First, we'll look at a really powerful tension in how we think about mercy. Then, we'll get into what the word actually means. After that, we'll see how mercy is literally part of creation, look at its opposite to get an even clearer picture, and wrap up with what this all means for us in our lives. All right, so let's start with this conflict that I think a lot of believers feel maybe deep down. It's a tension that really sets the stage for this entire conversation. This is the big one, right? And it's a tension you can feel right from the beginning of the Quran. We're told God's mercy is this huge, infinite, all-encompassing thing. But then, we also get the message that it's conditional, that it depends on what we do. So how are we supposed to make sense of these two ideas that seem to totally contradict each other? And that's the clash right there. On one side, you have this idea of infinite, unconditional mercy, something that's just a core part of the universe. And on the other, you have this idea that, well, you gotta earn it. You have to do X, Y, and Z or you won't get it. And for so many people, that creates a real powerful conflict inside their faith. Okay, so to resolve this tension, we have to dig a little deeper. We need to really unpack what mercy even means in this context. And this is where we get a massive aha moment that just changes everything. So the word in Arabic is rahma. And it doesn't just mean mercy, like, not punishing someone. It's so much richer than that. It's this whole concept that includes tenderness, real compassion, and this incredibly deep, nurturing kind of love. But wait, it gets even better. Now, this is the key that unlocks the whole thing. The root of the word raham is raham, which means the womb. And that is absolutely not a coincidence. It's designed to frame our entire understanding. God's mercy is meant to be seen as this deep, nurturing, all-encompassing protection, just like a womb. It's the very environment that we exist in. So which one is it? Are we dealing with the grumpy warden, this cosmic policeman just waiting to write us a ticket? Or are we dealing with the God who introduces himself as Ar-Rahman, the nurturer, the protector, whose very essence is this womb-like unconditional compassion? The sources really push us to see it as the latter. And this isn't just some abstract idea or a nice attribute. This concept of mercy is literally the foundation of the entire universe. It's not just something God does, it's what reality is actually made of. So where do we see this mercy? Well, everywhere. The act of creation itself is said to have sprouted from it. The Quran wasn't sent down as a rule book to beat us with, but as a mercy and a guidance. God's whole relationship with us is built on mercy. And, maybe most importantly, when God established his authority over all creation, the name he chose to lead with was Al-Rahman. That's the one he put right up front. And this mercy? It's universal. Just think about it. The blessings of this world, food, air, family, health, are these things only given to the believers? Of course not. They're given to everyone, to all of humanity. The analogy used in the source material is perfect. It's like a loan that anyone and everyone can get in this life. And if that wasn't already enough to blow your mind, get this. A famous hadith tells us that all the mercy we see and feel in this entire world, every mother's love, every act of kindness from a stranger, all of it combined, is only 1%. 1% of God's total mercy. The other 99%? That's waiting for us in the hereafter. Just sit with that for a second. Sometimes the best way to really understand something is to look at what it isn't. So to truly get the depth of Rahma, it really helps to explore its opposite. So let's break this down. The opposite of mercy isn't just being strict, it's a hardness of heart. And this is so important. The Quran actually connects a hard heart directly to a lack of faith or iman. And while the opposite of justice is oppression, where rights are taken, the opposite of hope in God's mercy is despair, which is a total disconnection from him. So you see, a lack of mercy isn't just some character flaw, it's a spiritual crisis. And here's something we really need to clear up. We hear this phrase, softening the heart, all the time, and we immediately think it means, getting emotional and crying during prayer. And while that can happen, that's not the point. The real sign of a soft heart is how you actually treat other people. It's about being actively merciful and compassionate in your actions. So, this all leads us to our final, and maybe the most important section. Understanding all of this isn't just some cool intellectual exercise, right? It's a call to action. It's all about how we can take this divine attribute and actually embody it in our own lives. Just think about the sheer power of this statement from the Quran. Out of all the infinite ways he could be, God chose to make mercy an obligation on himself. He literally made it his own rule. So if mercy is the rule that God sets for himself, well, that should tell us something incredibly important. There's this incredible story that illustrates this perfectly. The Prophet's own son-in-law, who wasn't a Muslim at the time, was captured in battle. To ransom him, the Prophet's daughter sent a necklace her late mother, Khadijah, had given her. When the Prophet saw this precious memento, his heart just melted. He turned to his companions and asked for their permission to return it. And later, after he was released, that same son-in-law came back and became a Muslim. Not because of a theological debate or a verse from Scripture, but because he was touched by an overwhelming act of mercy.
And that's the whole point, isn't it? The purpose of faith isn't just about going through the motions. It's about internalizing God's attributes, especially his mercy, and then becoming a source of that mercy for everyone around us. Our relationship should be defined by compassion, not by harshness or some blind adherence to rules. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If God, with all his power and majesty, chose to obligate mercy upon himself, what attribute are we going to choose for ourselves? Are we going to be those grumpy wardens, or are we going to try to be agents of that same all-encompassing Rama?